The observation deck of the Wandering Star hummed with the soft vibration of sublight engines as Captain Marcus Chen stood beside his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Beyond the reinforced viewport, the debris field of what had once been a Zethian colony ship drifted in the cold vacuum. Twisted metal, frozen atmosphere crystals, and the scattered remnants of lives interrupted. There, Lily pressed her small hand against the glass, pointing at a faint thermal signature on the scanner display. Dad, something's still alive in that section. Marcus had already seen it. His military training cataloged the readings automatically. One life sign, weakening, in what appeared to be an emergency pod. The war with the Zethian collective had ended 3 months ago, but the scars remained on both sides. This ship had been caught in the final days, destroyed by automated defense systems that hadn't received the ceasefire signal in time. We should help them, Lily said, her voice carrying that particular certainty that only children possessed. Marcus hesitated. The Zethians had been humanity's enemy for 7 years. 7 years of watching colonies burn, of losing friends, of making impossible decisions. The collective consciousness of the Zethian race had seemed incomprehensible, alien in ways that made negotiation nearly impossible. Each Zethian was simultaneously individual and part of a greater whole, a hive mind that humans had feared and fought with everything they had. Dad? Lily looked up at him with her mother's eyes. Lieutenant Hayes, Marcus spoke into his comm, prepare a rescue shuttle. We have a survivor in Sector 7 of the debris field. 20 minutes later, they brought her aboard. The Zethian was young, at least that's what the medical scanner indicated. In human terms, perhaps equivalent to a teenager. Her chitinous exoskeleton was cracked in several places, leaking the bioluminescent fluid that served as Zethian blood. 4 of her 6 limbs hung at awkward angles. But it was her eyes, those multifaceted, crystalline eyes that held Marcus's attention. They flickered with colors he had no names for, and in them, he saw something he'd never expected to see in a Zethian: fear. Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked quickly in the med bay, her hands steady despite the alien physiology. She's severely injured, but stable. The interesting thing is, she paused, checking her readings again, she's disconnected. Disconnected? Marcus frowned. From the collective. When the ship was destroyed, the psychic network that binds all Zethians must have been severed. She's alone in her own mind for probably the first time in her existence. Lily had refused to leave the medbay. She sat on a chair that was too big for her, legs swinging, watching the Zethian with fascination rather than fear. What's her name? The Zethians don't really have individual names, Dr. Tanaka explained gently. They're all part of, but she's not anymore, Lily interrupted. So she needs one. Can I call her Stella? Because we found her in the stars. Over the next 3 days, something remarkable happened. The Zethian, Stella, as Lily insisted on calling her, began to recover. But more than that, she began to change. Isolated from her collective, her behavior shifted in ways that the xenopsychology texts hadn't predicted. She learned to communicate through the translation device Dr. Tanaka rigged up. She expressed preferences. She showed curiosity, and she was terrified. Alone, the translator crackled as Stella's mandibles moved. So alone. The silence is screaming. Lily visited every day, bringing drawings, talking about Earth, about her pet cat, about her favorite foods. At first, Stella barely responded, but gradually the alien began to engage. She would trace Lily's drawings with one delicate claw. She would tilt her head when Lily described chocolate cake. And one day when Lily arrived with tears streaming down her face, angry, because the other crew children had teased her about her friendship with the bug, Stella reached out with a trembling limb and gently touched the girl's shoulder. It was a human gesture. Learned. Offered. Marcus watched it all from the medbay window, his heart caught between military caution and fatherly understanding. On the 4th day, as they approached the neutral station where Stella would be transferred to Zethian authorities, Lily came to the bridge. She looked up at her father with determination set in every line of her small face. Can we keep her, Dad? The bridge went quiet. Lieutenant Hayes stopped mid-report. The navigation officer's hands froze over his console. Marcus knelt down to his daughter's level. Lily, she's not a pet. She has her own people. But she doesn't have a collective anymore. Dr. Tanaka said they might not take her back. She said disconnected Zethians are sometimes rejected. Lily's voice cracked. She'll be alone, Dad, really alone. And she's scared. Marcus looked at his daughter, this fierce, compassionate little human who had lost her mother to the war but had somehow not lost her ability to see people, even in the strangest packages. He thought about humanity's journey to the stars, about all the times humans had been the outsiders, the strange ones, the feared ones, about how many species had eventually learned that humans, despite their reputation for violence, were also capable of ridiculous kindness, of adopting virtually anything as family, of extending their protective instincts to the most unlikely creatures. There were procedures for this. Asylum requests, cultural integration programs. It would be complicated, potentially controversial, taking in a former enemy, especially one so young, so vulnerable. But when had humanity ever done things the easy way? Marcus stood and keyed the comm to the medbay. Dr. Tanaka, what would Stella need? Long term? To live among humans. There was a pause. Then, are you serious, Captain? Answer the question, Doctor. Well, dietary supplements, environmental adjustments, continued therapy for her psychological trauma from collective separation. It's doable if she's willing. But Marcus, she's Zethian. Her people. Then she'll have ours, Marcus said quietly, looking at Lily's radiant smile. He opened a ship-wide channel. This is the captain. Plot a course for Earth. We're bringing someone home. In the medbay, Stella's translator crackled to life as she processed the announcement. The colors in her crystalline eyes shifted, from the dark purple of fear to something warmer, brighter. Something that might have been hope. And on the bridge, Lily hugged her father tight, already planning how to introduce her new sister to her cat.